Here on the state. My name is Anita Nafa-Lekwaku. Well, this afternoon also promises to be another educative one. We've selected one topic and we would have this discussion with you. And so wherever you are, wherever you will be this afternoon, if you're not watching us on television, you can watch us on all social media platforms. So we'll be back with a brief. Please do well to stay. Oh yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝐼𝐓𝐕 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies, and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝐼𝐓𝐕 Lodge and Travel Services can secure a Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates Bus Stop, opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Accra, or contact us on these numbers: 0544-279525 or 0545-622-672 or 0302-237557. 𝐼𝐓𝐕 Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride. All right, and so welcome back. It's still the state right here on Wesleyan Television, and this is the W Briefs. Let's go straight and take a look at what we intend discussing while we sit down. But this afternoon, the fact of the matter here is that the environment is the sum of all natural and artificial elements that surround and interact with our living organisms, including us as humans. But it encompasses everything from forests, rivers, oceans, deserts, and mountains to cities and the air that we breathe. These components, both living and non-living things, form the space in which life exists and thrives. The environment is vital for sustaining our own lives, offering resources like water, food, and raw materials. And we all know some of the raw materials we're talking about. However, human activities such as deforestation, pollution, and fossil fuel use are causing significant environment issues, including climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. And this pollution can be in any form. These challenges threaten the health of ecosystems and the quality of human life, making environmental protection and sustainable practices essential for future generations. So it means that if we are not taking care of the environment, our future generation will be impacted severely. Now, World Environment Day, WED, is celebrated annually on June 5 every year. So it serves as the United Nations principal platform for encouraging global awareness and action to protect the environment. Still on the fact, this was established in 1972 during the Stockholm Conference on Human Environment. The first WED was observed in 1973 with the theme Only One Earth. And indeed, we have only one Earth. Each year, World Environment Day focuses on a specific environmental theme such as marine pollution, climate change, biodiversity, or plastic pollution, and is hosted by a different country to spotlight their environmental initiatives. And so the day mobilizes millions of people in over 150 countries, including governments, businesses, communities, and individuals to participate in activities like tree planting, cleanup campaigns, policy advocacy, and educational events. And so these are some of the activities that comes up every year. In Ghana, the day was used to launch the Tree for Life program targeted at restoring over 7 million hectares of degraded land across the country. And so Tree for Life program has also been initiated. And President John Dramani Mahama rallied all citizens to plant at least one tree within a month after planting a commemorative tree at the 𝐖𝐓𝐕 Community Senior High School right here in Accra. The issue here is that for many people, Ghana's environment is under grave threat, occasioned mainly by sustained illegal mining practices. That is all we know as 𝐼𝐓𝐕, causing a cycle of environmental destruction, economic losses, health crisis, and social instability with consequences that persist for decades. The big question we are asking this afternoon, as Ghana joins the rest of the world to reflect on the environment this month, we ask, how well has the country protected its environment in the face of concerns over sustained illegal mining practices? That is what we intend finding out this afternoon. My guests have already joined me, and so do well to stay with us as we delve deeper into it. If you have any contributions, do well to also share that with us on all social media platforms. We'll be back after the break. Please stay. Are you good at news reading? Do you feel talented in television content creation or fluent in articulating programs presentation? Are you knowledgeable in graphic design, video editing, social media management, or any aspect of television production? If so, then you may just be the one we're looking for. Your favorite Christian television station, Wesleyan Television, is in search of suitable individuals to fill the position of a newsreader, programs presenter, producer, graphic designer, studio technician, and video editor to join our team of highly motivated media professionals. Do you feel qualified and interested? Then this is your golden opportunity to shine. Send your application letter and CV to us via email wtvaccra@gmail.com. For further inquiries, call us on 0242 263558. The deadline for application is Friday, June 13, 2025 at 5 p.m. prompt. Please note that only qualified applicants will be contacted. Come join WTV as we reach out to the world with our compelling Christ-centered television content. WTV, reaching out to the world. All right, and so welcome back. This is still The State right here on Wesleyan Television. My name is Anita. Well, I have been joined by Dr. 𝐼𝐓𝐕 𝐊𝐴𝐷, who is the National Coordinator for Religious Bodies Network on Environment and Climate Change, as well as the Reverend Dr. 𝐼𝐓𝐕 Agricultural Extension and Development Communication Specialist at KNUST. And so these two gentlemen will help us understand the topic 2025 World Environment Day, and we are examining the impact of 𝐼𝐓𝐕 on the environment. And so this is what we intend to discuss, and we are taking a look at the World Environment Day, but we are focusing on 𝐼𝐓𝐕 and its impact on our environment. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're doing well.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Reverend, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. Thank you so much for joining us on the state.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right. So before we start, from where you stand, World Environment Day has been celebrated on June 5. what would you say the world that day has been as for us as Ghanaians as we celebrate that day? Hello,
Okay,
Reverend,
thank
can you
you.
hear us?
For us as Ghanaians, this is a special day. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that for us as Ghanaians, this is a special day for us because it's a day that we somehow that's the norm, but we remember that we are actually from the earth, and one day surely we'll go back to the earth.
Okay.
And we also remember that it is the same plants that are sustaining us. We always say that when the last plant dies, then it means that the last
Yes,
human being
man
is
also
also
dies.
dying.
Yeah.
So for us, this is a special day for us. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Doc,
Yes.
from where you stand and with your position, what would you say the day means for us as Ghanaians?
I would say it's a great day.
Okay.
It means everything, as Dr. Tam was saying. When the last tree dies, the last man dies. And if we refuse to protect our environment, then it's just like suicide. The fact is that we don't have planet B. And this is the only planet we have. So a refusal to, and unfortunately, most unfortunately, we, humanity, is now, that has degraded, abused the earth to this level. And we are the only people who have to restore it.
How have
So,
we abused it to this level?
God's creation supports our sustenance. So, if a tree dies, new one sprouts from under. That's a restoration. But in our case, you cut the tree down and you make sure that you even any sprouting little one, we cut all of them
Plants.
to burn charcoal. So we are just destroying and destroying. So I refer to environmental degradation as suicide because we denting this on our own selves.
All right. So if we are narrowing it down to Galamsey activities, how has Galamsey impacted? Because before the issue of illegal small-scale mining, there was actually mining. We have companies who are doing legal mining, and so how are they also impacting positively or negatively to the environment?
Let me make something clear.
Okay.
Galamsey had been with us since creation, but
Okay.
the new way of mining is very abusive. Formerly, they used thermal extraction, where the sand, the collected sand, is heated in a pan, and then it melts the gold into that is more protective. And then they have other ways, they grind it and they use it through magnets, and all those things were there with us. But now, with the introduction of washing it into water, that has aggravated the level of destruction. All had some level of destruction of the environment. Heating it, thermal, this thing, they use charcoal to wood to do it. So that was but this new water formula is extremely destructive, and that is why it has become a very serious problem now. I would say Galamsey, we are talking about Galamsey now to the environmental degradation. You know, if they are mining, they cut wood to support the trenches that they dig, the hole in which they go to mine. They cut hardwood timber to support the tunnel. So they are degrading the forest, and then they divert rivers through any routes. They don't care. Any wood should fall, and then they should get the river to where they are mining. So all these things tend to degrade the environment terribly.
Okay, Doc, thank you. Reverend, what are the environmental impacts of Galamsey activities on our water bodies, our soil, and then the air, even the air that we breathe?
Okay, so One of the effects is that it's polluting our water. Back then, you travel, especially in the rural areas, you see very clean water, and it's water you can easily fetch and drink.
Okay.
But these days, we see very polluted water. You see the color being so brown, and right from the word "cool," you know that water is polluted, and it's not water you can drink. Now, our water used to be filled with fish. Like you can actually catch fishes in a lot of our water bodies previously, but because our water is polluted now, you can't get fish, clean fish.
So that is to say
So
that our ecosystem is also being destroyed.
exactly, all that is happening to us with Galamsey means that the ecosystem that actually supports human life is being destroyed. And it means that for us as human beings, we are also going off gradually.
How do we go off gradually? Because we are not the water bodies, we are not the soil, and we only breathe the air. So how does these three elements come in to make us diminish, to reduce our numbers?
Okay, so human life it's made of what we eat, and then basically what we eat, and then the air we breathe. Okay, now the machines that are used for Galamsey pollute the air itself. So once you work there, we've heard of cases of people who don't even smoke, but the fact that they stay around people like that, their lungs are affected, their kidneys are affected, and at the end of the day, it brings a death toll on them. Now, the water we drink and the food we eat itself is being polluted by these chemicals that are put into the water.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, the totality of our life is being affected by Galamsey.
All right, sure. From where you stand, the other time we had a conversation here, you talked about some parts of the sea having a lot of debris, including the mercury and all that. Explain to us how this affects us in our everyday life, because some of us stay in a car and we don't know really the impact of Galamsey. That is what to say.
Yeah.
But how does it affect us right here?
You see, the Galamsey in their activity, they release a lot of hard metals into the soil. And these water bodies, almost majority of rivers end up in the sea.
Okay.
Fine. They end up in the sea, and then the sea get polluted by these hard metals. The fishes in the water take in this hard metals, and then it gets implanted in the fishes. We take them, and then as we eat them, it means we are taking these hard metals. And these hard metals have negative effects on the human body. All of them have, there's no hard, intolerable metal that the human system can manage without being affected. So when we take in excessive mercury, excessive water, which is hydrogen and oxygen combined, if the interrelationship is not correct, you have influences, because their interaction forms acid, bases, and all those things. So if you are not having the right relationship or co-relationship, then you are poisoning yourself. So there's a chain, a long chain. Besides, as Dr. Tam was saying, people in these areas, they use mercury in processing the gold from the last ashes. And when they are doing that, the process emits a lot of mercury gases into the environment. And this can hang in the environment for a very long time before depositing. So people around end up breathing this. You may be just traveling through an area where they are doing mining, maybe to an area that they are not doing mining, from an area that they are not doing mining to an area that they are doing mining. You travel through that town and you get a lot of the mercury in your system by maybe opening your rolling down your car glasses. And then you end up inhaling a lot of these mercury into your system. And then the negative reaction starts in your body. So it is a serious threat to human existence. We are underrating it. And the most fearful one that people are not talking about is the position of soil. This brown water is deposited, is soil that is hanging in the water. And they are gradually depositing in our sea, in our water bodies. They deposit and they become trench along. Imagine, let's take 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐕, for example. Typical 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐕 was a river that is so deep. The Methodist Church once upon a time put a launch on the 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐕 somewhere in the lower part. And out of annoyance, some members went to sink the boat. And it went so deep that we attempted to let divers try if they could reach it, and then we retrieved it with the tractor. They did it, they went as far as they could, and it was retrieved. Now, currently, when boats are navigating on 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐕, they have to be careful because sand is reaching that level. Now, gradually, the sand will take over. You mean
the sand is taking up the water level?
Yes, reaching at a certain level that canoes now have to migrate well on the water. And it gets to a stage where it comes up and then it's level with the ground. So imagine this mass of sand, and there is sandy soil. So that one cannot support plant life. So imagine the size of 𝐿𝐴𝐓𝐕, half of it all sand, and the sun is burning on it. Look at the influence it will have on the environment in that area. It will even increase the relative environmental temperatures of the area where that is happening. So this Galamsey activities is something that can even wipe off all Ghanaians and all people who are living currently off the Earth's surface.
Wow. Dr. Tam, let's come back to you. Those living in these areas, especially the Galamsey-prone areas, are they not having the effect of the air pollution, the water pollution, and then the soil pollution? Because they are going to be having first-hand foods, first-hand water from these sources before it even gets to some parts of the country.
Okay. So the truth of the matter is that some of these effects happen over time. It's not as if Galamsey happens today, the following day you see the effect. So most of them living in these areas have not seen the direct effect on their human existence. And people feel that once they can still go and they can still come and do their daily life activities, then things are so normal. But in reality, our existence, like Dr. 𝐷𝐷𝐷 mentioned, our existence is being destroyed. So today things may seem okay, but things are being worked within us gradually, which we are not seeing. Maybe in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, then we may see the direct results of what we have been doing some years back. And then we would have realized that we hurt ourselves, and probably it would have become too late for us to now make the necessary changes that would have rather made us live long. So today people are rather thinking about their stomach, what they will eat today, what they will wear, and how they will enjoy life. But in reality, we forget that what we are doing today is what is going to inform what happens to us tomorrow.
So in this instance, once the land has been soiled or has been destroyed through Galamsey, how do we do well to reclaim the land? What is the process? Because I can still plant there. Am I right, from where you stand?
With the land being destroyed like we see, this is not a type of land we can actually, for instance, you want to plant maize, you can't plant it on that kind of land.
What is the reason?
There is you see, when they do Galamsey, they wash the soil with water. And as you wash it with the water, the nutrients that were in the soil are being washed away. So that particular land that has been that has undergone 𝐬𝐓𝐕 would just be a mere soil that does not have any nutrients to support plant life. So the water is washing everything away. Already the water is polluted. So whichever area the water is being washed to, that area is also being polluted, and that land cannot plant life. So there's a whole system of finding a way to revitalize the land, and that will take us a lot of time. It will take us a lot of energy. It will take us a lot of resources to get the land back. And what in which God actually created, anything that has been destroyed by human life, something that God gave to us, we cannot restore it completely to its normal life. So we may do something, but it is something that will sustain us for a while, but not it will not be sustainable.
So you are saying that our rivers are completely destroyed and nothing can be done about it?
Well, researchers are still working on it. There's a paper I read about, and somebody said that even the water, there are some things they add to it and can be made clean for you to drink. But the truth of the matter is that you cannot get it as clean as God made it. The soil cannot return to its natural elements in the exact way it was as God made it. We'll make amends. We'll get it in a better shape for us to plant and do what we want to do. But to get it in its natural state as God made it, personally, I doubt that can be done. But we can do something around it. And already efforts are being engineered towards that area.
All right. Sure, Doc, we'll get back to you. But viewers, we've been discussing the 2025 World Environment Day, and we are focusing on the impact of 𝐬𝐴 on the environment. But let's come back to you. Once the land or the water is destroyed, is there a way we can bring it back to normal? Like planting, using that same land after reclamation to plant some foods or to do some other things,
Yes,
including agriculture?
exactly as Reverend Dr. 𝐟𝗓𝐻𝐸 is saying. We may attempt to see all these plants and others depend on some particular nutrients within the soil.
Okay.
The aid we could do to ourselves might be to reintroduce these kind of chemicals to just support the plant life to some extent. But don't forget, some of the elements that they have impregnated the soil with can take up to 100 years to get leached out. So if we add those elements that are lacking for that soil to support plant life, those hard metals to there. So whatever we plant on such soil, we will have traces of those hard metals in the fruits or vegetables that we'll get from that degraded land that have been rehabilitated. But as he said rightly, there's no way humanity can restore it as God created it.
So now that we cannot do it after 100 years, what then becomes of that land? Do we leave it bare? And for how long do we leave it bare until God in his own infinite wisdom decides to bless us or to change the formation of that land?
Bare, we leave it bare, and you know, nobody can 100% determine what happens next.
Okay.
Because as the sun burns it, there are still chemical reactions that are going on. And it could go worse or it could be better. So, you see, as he rightly said, researchers are working on it. But in science, it can be left or right. It may be positive, it may be negative. But when you approach a research from one side, you are tempted to take what you are hoping for more serious and then eclipse the aspects where could be danger. So there's the danger is still there. We don't have to underrate the danger this thing poses to humanity at all.
Okay. Now, we come back to the World Environment Day. And as for us here in Ghana, we are planting 1 tree per person for the next 1 month. we are looking at planting more than 30 million trees before the month ends, so that we can be able to, whatever tree that has been cut down, we can be able to replace it. How do we intend going about this, and what will be the impact it would bring to us as a nation?
Let me say, as Methodists, every year we plant trees.
Okay.
Every year, Methodists plant trees. We adopted the Arbor Day system. So we do the Arbor Day, and then when the immediate past government introduced Green Ghana, we were among the lead faith-based organizations that planted trees. So we have been doing it. It is a little effort to solve a major problem. The tree planting is good. It's an excellent intervention, but it is so little giving coverage of the mess.
Okay.
So is
it going to solve some problems like the 𝐿𝐴𝐬 issue?
Maybe direct sunlight on the soil.
Okay.
Direct sunlight on the soil.
So we'll provide some sort of shade.
Which may lower some reactions that heat can cause in the soil. But as I want to encourage more. You see, there are a lot of people who are dwelling in the urban areas. Some even might not have access to the trees to plant. But the Methodists, we introduced a system which we ran through the Green Ghana time. We called it Pick, Plant, and Nurture.
Okay.
So we made seedlings with the help of the Forestry Commission at some vantage points within the whole nation. And anybody at all working can move to the point, pick, and we encourage you, plant where you can locate it, and then make sure you nurture it to maturity. And I will have an appointment with the Forestry Commission tomorrow to discuss with them how we are going to assist in this Tree for Life program.
So us as Methodists, we've not started?
We've not started.
Okay.
But in the beginning, it was as if they were not going to do tree planting this year. It just came up some few weeks ago that the government is going to continue the tree planting. So we pegged, actually Methodists are celebrating the Creation Care Month. June is classified as a Creation Care Month for all Methodists. So we are celebrating our Creation Care Month. And now we are supposed to start our planting program from the 13th of this month till the end of the month.
So this Friday? From
this Friday, we are starting till the end of the month.
Okay.
All along, when the government was planting, even just a day, the Methodists maintained planting throughout the month of June. So, if I can make a little announcement to my coordinators, I've sent letters to all of you that we are planting this year. And you know we are celebrating our 190th anniversary. The letters came. So please, we are arranging with the Forestry Commission, pick any amount. I said we are planting 190 trees, and it should be planted close to the chapels so that we can account for it next year. So please, coordinators, all circuit coordinators, society coordinators, thousand coordinators, go and collect identical 190 trees and share to be planted by the chapels. All chapels that can accommodate trees should be planted there. So you plant and report on it. Report on what you have planted to the directorate. So these are some of the actions that we are taking. So from Friday, the Methodists kick off our planting season till the end of June.
Okay. Doc, thank you. Dr. Tham, let's come back to you. Now, the government has started an initiative that is Plant a Tree initiative, and that is also ongoing. One tree was planted by the president in the 𝐖𝐓𝐕 Senior High School in Accra. But what does this mean for us? Is it going to minimize the impact of 𝐿𝐴𝐬 or the reclamation of the land?
My leg went off, so I couldn't hear.
Okay, so I'm asking that the president or the government has started Plant a Tree initiative, and then that is just one tree, and we are planting around 30 million trees before the end of the month. And that has also begun. Is it going to minimize the impact of the 𝐿𝐴𝐬 activities over the years?
Unfortunately, the ones I've seen so far, since for some years now, we've not targeted the Galamsey sites
Oh,
because
okay.
the process for reclamation of our lands probably has not really started. But generally, when you plant a new tree,
Hello, sir. Doc, can you hear us? Okay. So let's come back to
ideally in the okay.
Doc. We can hear you.
Yeah, so I was saying that ideally in the Galamsey areas, if the planting is done in such areas, I think we will go a long way in helping our ecosystem, especially in those areas where the land has been destroyed.
Okay. So from where you sit, what trees do you think we can plant to help us in this agenda of reclaiming the lands that have been lost so far?
As for this one, I'm not an expert in land reclamation.
Okay.
So for Galamsey areas, I may not be able to give a very good answer to that.
Okay, but beyond
tree
Galamsey, what are some of the plants that we can also plant?
any perennial crop can be planted. Any plant that can stay long in the soil or for the environment is recommended. I'm sure Dr. Adobruce will be able. In my society, I decided to plant coconut. I planted 2, and then 1 died along the way, but 1 is still surviving. So any plant that is perennial is possible for us to plant, and then it will help us in the long run.
Okay, all right, Doc. But beyond Galamsey, what are some of the activities that is bothering us as a people? I mean, beyond the Galamsey issue that is always on our lips and then we are talking about, what other activities or environmental threats that is bothering us as a country?
Okay, so one other environmental threat to our existence is this rubber polythene that is being used everywhere. Yeah, it's polluting the land also, the environment. And recently, I heard the president making an announcement that something has
the use of styrofoam will be banned.
Yeah. So that's a very good thing for us as a country, and we would encourage the president. There are more environmental initiatives we expect that it would happen in our country so that we would all benefit from it. But this rubber thing is really not helping us. It's really not helping us.
Okay, all right, Doc. What other environmental threat do you think is bothering us as a country?
I am happy Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝐬𝐿 started with the plastic pollution. This is what we all have to talk about. The plastic issue is a terrible thing. It stays in the soil about 400 years before it gets decomposed. And it is entering the sea. And now every fish that is brought ashore has some plastics in it. And you know, plastic decay gradually into a fine material called monoplastics. And that plastic can even go into the veins of a human being. It could move in your bloodstream. And the danger is, if there's a slowdown anywhere, then they start accumulating. And they can form nodules within the bloodstream. This is how serious the issue is. And now, it is very common that every fish that you eat, even from the sea, has these things, has the nanoplastics in them. When you, in the beginning, you made mention of the positive aspect that I always advocated the creation of the Pacific garbage patch and the Atlantic garbage patch are positive benefits that we have from plastic pollution, because at least we have 2 continents that are not habitable now. But maybe in the future we may have to escape and evacuate some people from the earth to these planets that the plastics have created.
Yes.
But they are not. Those two bodies are not supporting plant life. That should be made clear. It's a large part of plastics.
You said it's in some part of the sea.
Yeah, it's not far from Ghana. It's about 60-something nautical miles from our shore. And the size of that thing is about 5 times the size of Ghana.
The plastic?
Yes.
Has filled up to 5 times the size of Ghana.
Yes. It's resting on the aquatic ocean within the sea. It's called the Atlantic. We have one closer to, and that's called the Atlantic Garbage Patch. And then we have the Pacific Garbage Patch that is somewhere close to the UK.
Is it that solid that we can even build? We can even build on top
on it. Yes. So there's a lot of studies, and the violent sea can be attributed to that too, because as you approach it, it's wobbling, and it's busy sea, so it creates some energy in the sea. So we could attribute the violence of the sea to that. And you see, the environment is such that you shake a little part, and the consequences is rippling. So even the pushback of water when it rains, and then the excessive floods that occur, besides the issue of we paving too much of our houses, and then now there's nothing like seepage. So the rain falls and then it goes into the gutter and then to the drains. So there's so much. Besides that, when the sea is so violent, the rate of absorption of water from the rivers is also reduced.
Okay.
The speed with which the water could enter. If the river is not a very fast-moving river, then it slows down the rate at which. So where does it come? It's pushed back. So there's a correlation between all these things and then flooding in Ghana now. So the environment is so fragile. So fragile. So always when I start, I tell them, please, let us be reminded that there's no planet B. And then we, the living people, we are holding this. This is not. We are not taking. God has not given us an environment to destroy, but we are just holding it in trust for our future generation. So it is a curse for us to destroy it.
All right, and so I think we've had some discussions on this, but we'll come back after the break, and we're going to be looking at some possible solutions, including government interventions and some enforcement of certain laws as well. But this is what we've been discussing, the 2025 World Environment Day, and we've been speaking with these two gentlemen who have helped us in identifying some of the threats that we think are not environment friendly at all to us as Ghanaians. But we'll be back after the break. Please do want to stay. Oh yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝐼𝐴 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝐼𝐴 Lodge and Travel Services can secure Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates Bus Stop, opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Accra, or contact us on these numbers: 0544-279525 or 0545-622-672 or 0302-237557. 𝐼𝐴 Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride. Are you good at news reading? Do you feel talented in television content creation or fluent in articulating programs presentation? Are you knowledgeable in graphic design, video editing, social media management, or any aspect of television production? If so, then you may just be the one we're looking for. Your favorite Christian television station, Wesleyan Television, is in search of suitable individuals to fill the position of a newsreader, programs presenter, producer, graphic designer, studio technician, and video editor to join our team of highly motivated media professionals. Do you feel qualified and interested? Then this is your golden opportunity to shine. Send your application letter and CV to us via email wtvaccra@gmail.com. For further enquiries, call us on 0242 263558. The deadline for application is Friday, June 13, 2025 at 5 p.m. prompt. Please note that only qualified applicants will be contacted. Come join WTV as we reach out to the world with our compelling Christ-centered television content. WTV, reaching out to the world. Welcome back. This is still the stage, and thank you so much for joining us once again. We've been speaking on the 2025 World Environment Day, and my guests are still with us here. Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝐕 𝐊𝐚𝐬𝐞ɛ𝐛ɔ is the Director for Environment, Agriculture and Rural Development for the Methodist Church Ghana, and the Reverend Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝐕 𝐊𝐚𝐬𝐞ɛ𝐛ɔ, who is an Agricultural Extension and Development Communication Specialist from the KNUST. And so these two gentlemen are helping us understand what we are discussing right here. But you've been talking about the plastic situation we have in this country. What can we do to avert the plastic? One, the president has given a directive that very soon the ban will be on the styrofoam plastics. That is what we call the takeaway packs. So you buy noodles and then it's put in it. You buy rice and then so the white substance. It says it takes a very long time for it to do, to break down in the soil, and then sometimes it chokes the gutters and then it drains, causing flooding.
Yeah, it is one of the best statements I've heard from him.
Okay.
And I pray he gets the courage to do that. Okay. Weaker countries have been able to ban those things. Weaker countries in relation to, in Africa, in relation to Ghana, have been able to ban. So we should also be able to ban that. And one other thing that the government is doing, getting right, is the inter-ministerial cooperation in handling the issues about the environment. You realize, especially, it came up clearly, and I was so impressed when he was launching the environment was there, education was there, there was also rural development science. Was there, and science, and these are the bodies that should collaborate and then help. Tourism
as well was there, because some people are using plastics to create a lot of things.
Yes,
well, and quite recently is a school, is a desk.
Yes. So it is a very good approach, and I think they should be encouraged and acknowledged that it's a positive move towards solving the problem. That's one. Number two, we should have a conscious effort as educating our young on environmental protection, and I call it stewardship of God's world. Okay. That they should be good stewards of God's world while we are alive. And this can start from the youth groups. Okay. And then we have formation of, we have creation care clubs, but unfortunately,
in our schools.
At some of our schools. But unfortunately, the enthusiasm with which it was started has slowed down because I have not been able to actively go around like I used to. But I hope from next year we will revitalize all our creation care clubs. Then we do that, and then we should educate ourselves in this waste separation.
Waste segregation.
Yes, in the house we separate plastics, and then we separate the raw garbage. So when and then we maintain the line of plastics to where it goes through recycling and then treatment, so that we will not pollute our environment.
So that is that a practice we see on the screen?
Oh, this is
how dangerous is this one?
This is real danger, because you see the fumes going up are made up of chemicals, a lot of chemicals. Some are very hard. These things goes and they hang in the atmosphere. So when it rains, we get them back on earth.
Oh.
And these are what causes acid rains and others, where in some countries you walk through the rain and you have patches on your body. So it is a very dangerous thing, and they should be cracked and cracked and cracked well, because they will do this this is somewhere around 𝐖𝐓𝐕 area, from what I'm seeing. Yes, they do this here.
So this is between this is the Koli.
Yes,
So in between
this
in
is what has
between
been
the
left of our Koli Lagoon.
yeah,
And
that used to be the that used to be the Sodom and Gomorrah area.
Yes, it is still. Let me tell you a little history about Koli, so you see what our activities have done.
Okay.
My grandmother told us that when they were young and you are running, they fetch the Koli Lagoon and you drink it, because it was like
lagoon.
Yes, you fetch. It was that clean. They fetch it and you drink it, and because of the salt water relationship, it acts like ORS. So when you are running, the Koli Lagoon used to help.
Oh, so when you have a running time, you just run to the place and fetch some.
And we had the best taste of tilapia from the Koli Lagoon. Now, even vultures cannot drink the Koli Lagoon. So this is how the extent to which we are destroying our environment. The Koli Lagoon is a classical example. And I think it's hard time the Ghana Traditional Council gets up to fight, and then we restore the Koli Lagoon, because any city without a water body flowing through is a dead city. So we shouldn't sit down till the Koli Lagoon also
it looks like
becomes a
it's
dead
drying
water.
up too.
It's drying up, because they
It's
are
drying up.
pushing sawdust into it to reclaim land for them to build their buildings at the Sodom and Gomorrah place. Yes, that's what is going on.
All right. That's a story for another day. But let's come back to you, Dr. Tham. Plastic waste has become one of the things that the president has said that it will be eradicated gradually, and it will be replaced with the paper cups and then the paper stuff instead of the plastic. One of them is the styrofoam plastics that will finally be taken out of our system. What do you think this initiative will bring to us? Hello, Doc. Can you hear us?
Like Dr. rightly said, it's one of the best news. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, please, we are listening.
Okay. Like Dr. Adogu said, it's one of the best. It's one of the best news we have heard, especially for those of us very concerned about environmental issues. We are happy that such an instruction has come into place. We only hope that it will come with the needed zeal to enforce this law. Because most of it in Ghana, it's not difficult for us to come up to the law. The policy makers are there. By the time you see we write something, then it's announced. But to make sure that that thing is enforced has really been the bane of our country.
But
So
we have institutions who are backed. Dr. Pham, we have institutions that are backed by the Constitution, like the Environmental Protection Agency. We have the ministries, we have the agencies and departments who are allowed to go through some of these things, like indiscriminate dumping of refuse. You go to some of the municipal assemblies and you can call on them in such times. So why are we still having the issue of plastic waste or waste being dumped haphazardly?
Okay, so the institutions are, but we also realize that the institutions are manned by human beings.
Okay.
So it's the human element within these institutions that must ensure that the instructions or the laws that come through Parliament and our president are enforced on us. But the institutions are there. Most of the time you ask them, and the challenges and the issues they come out with, and to tell you why they are not able to do it, so many. Because, for instance, this refuse dumps, it's sad that sometimes you have to pay a private company to do that. Meanwhile, there are people who are taking salary for such activity, but they will not do. The same people will push that the private entity will be given a contract to ensure that they do what they were supposed to be doing.
Okay, so Doc, thank you so much for your time. But before we go, we have just some few minutes to wrap up. Finally, what would you say to our viewers on all that we've discussed so far?
My final comment, okay, so my final comment is that we will not get tired in talking about these environmental issues and Galamsey issues. Yet when I was told about this, initially I was like, are we not wasting time? But thinking through it again, sometimes it takes time for people to change. So we'll keep doing our best, educating the populace and Ghanaians and Methodists in general about these issues. We hope that one day we all get the better part of the information and then change actually happens to all of us for the benefit of our own lives and for God and country. We shall survive. Sure.
Amen. Amen. All right, Doc. Thank you so much. Doc, let's come back to you in the studio. Finally, what will be your comments to us as we draw the curtains on today's program?
My comment is that, my fellow Methodists, let us take this activity seriously and help the government to succeed. And then my comment to the government too is that they should use the faith-based organizations properly. If you support us, we have a lot in offer, even provision of alternative livelihoods for these galamseyers. The faith-based organization, we have setups to help the government. So I think the government should interact with us, and together we can have solutions to most of the challenging problems that we are having.
Doc, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for the education as well. But the viewers, we've been talking about the 2025 World Environment Day. We examined the impacts of Galamsey and other threats to the environment. Our guests were Dr. 𝐖𝐓𝐕 𝐊𝐚𝐬𝐿, the National Coordinator for Religious Bodies Network on Environment and Climate Change, as well as the Director for Environment, Agriculture and Rural Development for the Methodist Church Ghana. And we also spoke with the Reverend Dr. 𝐖𝐓𝐕 who is an agricultural extension and development communication specialist with the KNUST. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. But to you, our viewers out there, thank you so much for making time with us this afternoon. We promise to hit your screens again on Wednesday. Before then, enjoy the rest of our programs. My name is Anita Nafa Alekwaku. Thank you for watching.